Yo, what's good everybody? This is SloMo here with another coming soon video. This coming soon video will be for spring 2020. And if you aren't aware and you haven't seen one of these videos before, I do these videos covering the games that I'm interested in and games I feel you guys should be looking out for every season. This one in particular is for spring. All games featured will be coming out in March to May of this year. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it. The first game up is the Division 2 Warlords of New York expansion. And yes, the Division 2 did come out in 2019, but the new Warlords of New York expansion is coming out very soon. The Division 2 is developed by Massive Entertainment and published by Ubisoft and is running on the Snowdrop engine, an engine that's very good at creating weather effects and creating very realistic world environments. The Division 2 is a cover-based looter shooter if you're not aware of it. And actually the game right now, the base game, is available for just $3. You should probably drop down that $3 and just check the game out. You might really like it. This expansion is taking the Division agents back to New York where the first game took place. The second game takes place in DC. But yeah, you go back to New York, and the purpose of going back to New York is to take down the first game's main antagonist, rogue agent Aaron Keener. Players will need to bring down Keener's 4 lieutenants before being able to take him out. Each lieutenant you defeat will give you access to a new skill that particular lieutenant used, which is a new way of being able to develop new skills, which is a little bit different for the series. Massive have retooled the gear system, the weapon system, and increased the level cap from level 30 to 40. So if you are interested in this new expansion, it will be releasing on March 3rd, and it will be available on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Next up is Ori and The Will of the Wisp. Now, Ori and The Will of the Wisp is being developed by Moon Studios and published by Xbox Game Studios and is running on the Unity engine. Ori is a platform adventure Metroidvania game. I had this game featured in the previous coming soon video, but the game was delayed off its February release date, and I figured, hey, since it's now within the spring coming soon range, let me go ahead and put this game back on in case you guys forgot about it. Ori is a sequel to the hit Ori and the Blind Forest, which was an amazing game. A lot of people really loved it, was reviewed very well, was received very well by the general gaming public. Moon Studios has 4 times as many developers working on the sequel than they did for the first game. Moon Studios also is boasting that Ori and The Will of the Wisp will have the same core gameplay, just massively improved in all areas. Some gameplay additions are actually giving Ori various weapons to use and having actual boss fights. They also eliminated the manual save system for a checkpoint system, which I know some players will be really happy to hear. The release date for Ori and The Will of the Wisp is for March 11th, and it will be available on Xbox One and PC. Also, if you have Game Pass, it will be available at launch. Next up is Bleeding Edge, developed by Ninja Theory and published by Xbox Game Studios. Bleeding Edge is running on Unreal Engine 4 and is an arena hero MOBA hybrid. It's very similar in playstyle to Overwatch, although some people will get a little testy about that similarity, but it definitely plays differently than Overwatch. It's way more melee focused and at a lot slower pace. Bleeding Edge has 13 different characters currently. They will be adding more characters as time goes on, but currently 13 different characters who all play completely different and will take some time to learn how to master. These 13 characters are a part of 3 separate categories. Those categories are DPS, support, and tank. You will need to rely on teamwork and a balanced team composition to ensure success going up against other players. And what you're gonna have currently, what we've seen are 2 different modes. One's kind of like a control mode, the other is find items and turn those items into a certain area, and it's a 4v4 arena game. There is another beta coming out in a few weeks, so definitely before launch, which is March 24th. And Bleeding Edge is available on Xbox One and PC. And again, like Ori, if you have Game Pass, it will be available to be played at launch. Moving on to Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal is developed and published by Atlus. And Persona 5 Royal is a turn-based role-playing game. Now, the original Persona 5 was released in Japan on September 2016 and came out here in 2017, worldwide in 2017. The Royal version will have a new party member named Kasumi, a new school semester, new animated story cutscenes, a new city to explore, 2 new confidants, and new personas, enemies, weapons, and actually multiple endings. Each party member now has a new Showtime attack, basically a super move. All palaces, basically dungeons, have also been reworked a little, not too much. And actually, to clarify before, the game always had multiple endings, but now there are 2 more new endings. So just to clarify that part. There's also gameplay adjustments coming to bring better balance to battles, and they're definitely overhauling and improving mementos, which is one of the bigger issues that I and many people had with Persona 5, although the game was overall really enjoyable. What I will say about this game is that I'm not probably going to get it. I did want to add it to the list this time because I think it's a game that if you haven't played it before, you really should check it out. It's a very good quality game. It has some issues, some questionable themes going on, but overall, it's a game that will take you upwards to over 100 hours to complete, and it's fairly enjoyable throughout. And Persona 5 Royal will be available March 31st. It's already available in Japan, but definitely will be available worldwide March 31st, and is available on PlayStation 4. Next up is Resident Evil 3 Remake, and that is being developed and published by Capcom, running on the RE engine, which was used in Resident Evil 7 and the Resident Evil 2 remake that came out last year. Now, Resident Evil 3 is a survival horror game and a remake of the original Resident Evil Nemesis that came out in 1999. Players control stars Officer Jill Valentine as she attempts to escape a raccoon city that has fallen to a zombie apocalypse while also being hunted by Nemesis. Like last year's Resident Evil 2 remake, the controls have been overhauled from the original game, making them way more modern and way less annoying. And also, Capcom has altered the game designs to give Jill a more practical look as well. Resident Evil 3 is releasing April 3rd and available on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Our next game, and a personal favorite of mine, is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII Remake is being developed by and published by Square Enix. Final Fantasy VII Remake is a hybrid turn-based role-playing game. The original was just a straight-up turn-based role-playing game, but this one is getting kind of a more modern update. The original Final Fantasy VII also came out in 1995 on the original PlayStation. This game is bringing back some of these iconic heroes like Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, the whole crew. Also bringing back villains like Sephiroth that everyone loves. And likely, really, this is probably the most popular Final Fantasy game in the entire series. So this was long overdue. This game was initially announced back in, I believe, 2015 or 2016 at E3. And it's been a long time coming, but finally the game's here. Square Enix has overhauled the look of the game. The characters look very much like the character designs from the Final Fantasy movie that was kind of a sequel to the original game called Advent Children. Kind of a personal favorite of mine. This one is one of my most anticipated games this year, to be honest, and just can't wait to play it. Our release date is April 10th and available on PlayStation 4. It will be released on Xbox and PC, but that isn't happening until 2021. Next up is Wasteland 3. Wasteland 3 is being developed by NXL Entertainment and published by Xbox Game Studios. Wasteland 3 is a party-based strategic role-playing game running on the Unity engine. Wasteland 3 takes place in a post-apocalyptic Colorado where you and your people are just trying to survive. Players will face difficult moral decisions, and considering what I played from Wasteland 2, it's a game that I'm really anticipating and really going to have a good time digging into. This game was originally slated to come out in holiday 2019, but after NXL was purchased by Microsoft, and with the backing of Xbox Game Studios, they were able to add voice acting for all dialogue throughout the game and also just add additional polish to it, which delayed the game to this year. NXL has also added a more fluid action system compared to the more tactical turn-based combat that we saw in the previous game, which is also something I'm very intrigued in trying out. And if you're interested in Wasteland 3, the game comes out May 19th. It will be available on Xbox One and PC, and again, it's a Game Pass game that will be available at launch, so go check it out. And last but definitely not least is The Last of Us Part 2, developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. The Last of Us Part 2 is an action-adventure game and the sequel to considered one of the best games ever created in The Last of Us. In the previous game, your main protagonist was Joel, and you were trying to take care of the secondary support character, which was Ellie. Now, Ellie is now 19 years old, and she is now your main protagonist, while Joel has taken on a more secondary role in the game. I'm expecting this one to be pretty bloody, especially considering what we've seen from trailers and demos, and probably one of the most visually impressive games that we're going to have this generation. This game will have new infected enemies as well, some that'll spray gaseous acid on you when they're near you, or will also explode once you kill them, so it brings a different element to the gameplay. An hour-long demo was supposed to be available at PAX East, but Sony pulled out of the event due to health risk. Nonetheless, the additions in gameplay and pedigree of the team writing the story are sure to impress those when the game is launching. The Last of Us Part 2 will be available on May 29th and available on the PlayStation 4. So hey, look, a lot of games to get into this time, and actually with some of the delays it could have been even more, which is crazy. Like Marvel Avengers got delayed out. Cyberpunk 2077 was supposed to be coming out at this time of range, and it got delayed too. So it's just amazing that there's so many good games coming out in the next 3 months, and it could have been more. But hey, are you looking forward to any of the games that I featured? Did I miss any? Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the dislike button if you didn't, it's all good. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more coming soon videos in the future. Peace.